Was the worst year for a lot of us for our mental as well as physical health. So joining us this morning is best-selling author, coach, and fitness expert, Lisa Goldenthal.
Hello and welcome. I'm Lisa G, your host. You're at the top of your game, yet the game is changing faster than ever. Strategies that got you here aren't the ones that'll keep you here. The pressure is relentless, and the fear of obsolescence looms large. That's why I'm here. Welcome to the new podcast series, Disrupted: How to Be Gritty and Unlock Performance. This is your chance where I sit down with today's tops in business, mindset, wellness, and success to help you master disruption and thrive.
Thanks for coming, and I'll see you soon.
He's the CEO of Quantive. He leads a paradigm shift in business solutions, harnessing AI and pioneering strategies. With a storied background as managing director at UBS Investment Banking, he spearheaded over 70 transactions from mergers to IPOs. His expertise lies in leveraging AI for strategic advantages, navigating fintech disruptions, and fostering agile, data-driven cultures. An alumnus of the University of Bocconi, he holds degrees in economics and law. As a thought leader, he captivates audiences with insights into disruptive technologies, product innovation, and visionary business philosophies, resonating with leaders across diverse enterprising seeking transformative strategies. Welcome to the podcast, Carmine Visconti.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for having me.
I am so thrilled to have you. I hope I didn't mangle any of your names. I'm doing my best over here.
Don't worry. It's the hardest part of, saying my name. But the good news is my last name is probably easier.
Visconti, yeah, makes you sound like royalty. I'm sure it is from way back when. So
Exactly. Maybe another life.
another
But
life
that's for another podcast.
Okay, all right. Well, so your Carmine is how you say your name in Italian, and
Thank
Carmine
you.
for here. So let's jump into the topics. Let's talk about strategic leadership in the midst of uncertainty.
Yeah, so it's thank you for the question. It's sufficiently open-ended for me to try to move around at the various points that I want to land.
Okay.
So to begin with, I think we need to define what is the definition of strategy. And
Right.
the interesting news that I have is it's virtually almost impossible, especially when we speak with the clients of ours,
Right.
existing or even prospects. And I'm talking of creme de la creme of executives, FTSE 100 or
Right.
FTSE 500 or of large enterprises. It's virtually impossible to agree upon a common lexicon, a common definition, what a strategy is to begin with.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, strategy means a different flavor and tastes and different definition and lexicon to different executives. So the first difficulties is around how you're going to define a strategy, right? At Quantive, we are not going to solve the quest to define once for everyone the lexicon for this strategy. Why not? Well, because that's an academia topic. We're a business for profit, and therefore what matters for us is making sure that companies, no matter what is their strategy, and no matter how such a strategy is being predicated, are able to execute and to run and subsequent to adapt, which is even the secret sauce of our business, their own strategy, no matter what their strategy is. And once we move ourselves away from the academia spat, how are you going to define a strategy? What is a strategy to begin with? We then focus and dive into the notion of saying, ultimately what matters is transforming a long-term predicament that someone calls strategy, someone call it policy, someone just call it initiatives, right?
Right.
Is transforming those predicaments in a real actionable sets of goals, objectives, KPIs that gives the operating rhythm and allow any business leaders and any employees within a company to run their own business to begin with. And that's where we start playing our games, this game conversion of long-term initiatives, strategies, or policies into short-term operating actions that are very clear what people within any organization are going to do here and now. Right. And that's the part where we really shine and we really drive the largest component of our solution when it comes to the planning the right strategies and when it comes to the run of your own business. And the third aspect, which is probably, and I'm finishing off on your question, is around what's really happening in today. Again, no matter what is your strategy, let's park now how you're going to execute upon your strategy. What really matters at the moment is the speed. If there is everyone that is in a violent agreement in today's business environment, is speed of change is accelerating. And therefore, it requires a different response in the way enterprises are dealing with the macro, and it can be the inflation, the competition, the price tension, and customers, and so on and so forth, but also with some internal endemic aspects of each and every one businesses, resource, finite capital, KPIs, and so on and so forth. The speed of change is creating a very dynamic and incredibly accelerating trend where executive has to constantly think and think and think and think again, right? In addition to run their own businesses. This is also where we cover those leaders in order to allow them to adapt their business at the speed of change by offering a solution which is powered by AI. And we are really leveraging and gearing up AI so that we make those executives, and there as a result, the companies, faster, smarter, and ultimately to take a better decision at the speed of change.
Well, I'm so glad that you're talking about the need to pivot and the speed of change. It's like the only constant in the last 4+ years has been change. So I'm glad that you bring up the subject of AI, because I'm passionate about that, and how if your executives are not staying up on the need to implement AI in their business, they might get left in the dust, right?
But look, the price to pay in modern organizations and in today's economical environment to neglect the speed of change goes by a terrifying business name, and its name is disruption.
Right.
So you may be complacent and you can look at yourself in the mirrors of your business every day and you can pretend they are the most beautiful woman or man on the planet and your business is firing full cylinder. But speed of change is operating regardless of your will and regardless of your beauty, if I may use such an analogy. And the moment it's going to knock at your door, it's too late. It's coming with a death sentence, and it's called disruption. So that's why it's becoming, frankly, an imperative for every company, no matter if you are a pizzeria chain or you are the largest electrical vehicle car on the planet, accelerating and playing your games at the speed of change, it's an imperative. Without which you are going to be out of the business at the speed of light, which is the only thing you can compare with the speed of change. And you don't have a chance to react the minute the speed of change is knocking at your door and saying, hey, by the way, that's disruption coming. Then you're gone.
Yeah, I think that's so important to stay up with the speed of change and stay current and learn new stuff. And this is the biggest tech change in my lifetime that I can see since like Google and all the other stuff. Actually, AI can shorten the amount of time it takes to do almost anything, right?
Oh, totally does. Because ultimately, and I'm not trying to be philosophical, despite I love philosophy, but what we're talking about here, we're talking about knowledge, right? And if I try to be hopefully not painful in my way of describing it, human brain is able, and sorry, knowledge is about the computing capabilities that you have in your brain if you are human, but also in the communication skills that you can articulate around your thoughts, your idea, right? So that's knowledge, right? The ability to inject something and being able to communicate and articulate the something that you have in your mind that goes by a thought, an idea, or a business initiative. So when you're in business. Perfect. Now, on average, any given human kind on the planet is able to have some computing capabilities,
Right.
finite, because our brain of a certain size, and is able to say something like 200 words per minute, right? Now,
Right.
you can be the fastest and the best humankind on the planet. Certainly it's not me, it must be someone else, but still probably you can range into the 300, right?
Not me, but yeah,
words
somebody.
per minute. Now, this is the finite ability of the way humankind can transfer their own knowledge between point A and point B, right?
Right.
In order to create a network and the wealth of data, right? Human-led. Now, I don't need to tell you what an AI can do when it's playing exactly the same game. So the ability of an AI, if I give you an analogy in terms of, and that I cannot remember where did I found such an information, because I'm borrowing someone else's content, and I'm afraid, but I need to reference, but I cannot recall where did I read this one. Just to give you a reference point, if it's in monetary terms, humankind can process $6 a month of wealth of knowledge, versus in a minute, an AI is able to process the GDP of the United Kingdom. So that's the scale. So we're talking of a complete different paradigm shift between the ability to transfer and process knowledge of humankind, while instead supported by AI, which is our proposal, by the way. We're not saying, oh, AI is in town, it's going to dislodge whatever it's out there. Absolutely not. We are applying AI to make human and executive, specifically in our use cases, smarter and faster. So that's our proposition, to pair up the velocity, the speed, and the amount of processing and data and communication skills that an AI can encapsulate, paired with the human twist of being exceptionally innovative and exceptionally alert on focusing on what matters. And that's basically what we're trying to do with AI in Quantib.
Well, I love the distinction that you're making, that it's not going to replace you, but it's going to replace the people that don't learn AI.
Oh, totally. Yes, that's well, to begin with, is the ethos of our product, and by default is the ethos of our, sorry, it's the other way around. It's the ethos of our company and our mission statement, and as a result, is the ethos of our product. But besides what can sound like a feeling good statement, is also the fundamental nature of what we think are Quantib, but also what we build in Quantib. And let me unpack this for you. So AI is definitely a fantastic machine learning on computer-based, algorithm-based, you name it, tool that is magnifying the knowledge management. That's for sure and guaranteed. And it's relatively easy to demonstrate such a thing. However, the AI is as good as the past knowledge that's been encapsulated in the AI. Okay?
Yeah.
So the AI, it will continue to lack of any ability of imagination, in the sense of knowing from the past and having an ability to depict a new way forward, so that you can have a different way of thinking, a different way of moving things around, which, as a matter of fact, haven't happened yet in the past. So what I'm advocating for a new version, a 2.0, if ever is possible, of executives that have an ability to leverage AI when matters in terms of speed, velocity, and knowledge of data. But once upon consulting such a wealth of data, have an ability to be so innovative, right, to redefine a new way forward. And that's purely and only the monopoly of humankind, right? Because it's incumbent to the human having an ability to create a storytelling, to creating a narrative, to creating something that is so compelling that hasn't been seen yet. That's where I'm advocating for a new version of an upgraded executive within business that can free up capacity for the less strategic component, and instead focusing on what really matters, which is all around innovation. Now we're going to move your business forward and foster the new culture of progressive innovation. That's the way I call it.
Wow. Well, I know we've covered a lot of stuff already. We've talked about the AI, which is such a fascinating topic, using it for good, of course, and your strategic planning and how it's not the same for everybody, obviously. But I also see you as a visionary leader who's in the tech-driven business. So once I think even before we're in strategy, we have to start with vision. So do you want to talk about the importance of visionary tech-driven leadership?
Oh, so totally. And thank you for asking such a question. What is interesting is something that I always repeat myself and sometimes to my children, right? When you speak about vision, we need to clarify what a vision is. And vision is the representation of your own self. And this is applicable to business, but applicable even to human, right? So what is a vision of yourself is I'm going to see myself in 20 years from now, and I'm going to look like this. I'm going to be living on the Sorrento coast where I'm from. I have a beautiful house with a lot of lemons all around me, a lemon tree all around me, and beautiful smell, and a beautiful family, and an amazing life. And I'm reading books, right? So that's the vision that I have of myself.
That
right?
sounds good. Yes,
Sounds super cool. So probably it's the coolest stuff that your audience is going to hear during this podcast. But that's the vision, right? How are you going to see yourself upon a certain future and what it will look like, that vision of yourself? The same is applicable for business. How do you see your business being in 10 years, 25, whatever is the time horizon they're going to depict? And that's the vision you see of yourself. Perfect. So once we are clarified around the vision, it's also worth to say that the way then you define the vision is very borderline, because in business, it takes like a very simple misstep to make an amazing business vision, which is going to come to fruition, is going to create a business like the Tesla, the Apple, the Adobe, you name it, versus a vision that was so schizophrenic, so wrongly executed, so badly articulated, that actually you end up being the guy that was a psychopath in many ways, right? And your vision landed in a completely shambolic way, and to the point that it was not successful. So what I'm trying to say is, if on one hand it's very important to unpack and articulate the vision that you have, at the same time is even more so important to execute carefully, in locksteps, articulating, communicating, and whatever comes with the pack, because otherwise the misstep is just a tiny bit that makes your own vision to become a vision of someone that was completely not anymore a business entrepreneur and a ferocious entrepreneur that managed to execute against the vision, but it was just a psychopath that's some hallucination, right? So what I'm trying to say, it takes like just a tiny misstep to make you to mark the difference between the greatest visionary business guy versus a complete shamble entrepreneur that just had some hallucinations.
Yeah, I see there's such a fine line there, because as an entrepreneur myself, I know sometimes I could be firing on all these different cylinders and not really into the right direction. So I think the leadership that you're talking about is what's really required to, once you have that vision, small lock steps, like you said, not all at once, working towards the vision with your strategic plan. So Carmine, I gotta pronounce it in Carmine, the Italian way, because it sounds great. Do you have any final tips you want to leave our audience with about being unstoppable in disruptive times?
But the only thing I want to share as a final remark is to say there is a way to deal with disruption, to deal with the speed of change, and the way is to have a strategy that is constantly on. And as I said, no matter how you define your strategy, no matter what is the lexicon definition, no matter where from such definition is coming, what matters is instead is this ability and this mindset that has to shift, has to change, where employees, leaders, and executives have this constant mindset of re-strategizing, rethinking again, recut, repurpose, and move things around, not because it's painful, but because it's needed. And the notion of having a strategy always on really encapsulate this ability of acting fast for the greater good of achieving, to your point, the business vision. And this one can only be done with a mindset of having a strategy always on.
I like it. That's just sounds like a recipe for success. And where can people find more of you?
You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find my company on LinkedIn. We're pretty prolific these days in showing up our properties and our digital inventory that we have. So the company website is quanti.com. My LinkedIn is Carmine Visconti at Quantiv. And as I said, we're pretty present, and we're engaging with all the people that are coming and asking questions and are interested in what we do, in the product that we've built, and whatever value we can propose. So it's relatively easy to find us.
Well, Carmine Visconti, thanks for being a great guest on the podcast.
Thank you so much.
I suggest everyone connect with you on LinkedIn.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for your time and for hosting me.